And as we finish up in Gloucester with Japan and Scotland, the focus of the rugby world shifts to Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. And finally, our Wallabies get their campaign underway against the Flying Fijians. This is the scene of Australia's last World Cup triumph in 1999, and 16 years on, it's where Michael Checker's men will be trying to kickstart their own journey to Cup glory. The streets of Cardiff have been awash with gold this week, and all of those Wallaby fans are here today in full voice to watch their men begin their Rugby World Cup campaign for 2015. Hello, welcome to Australia and Fiji on Fox Sports. Terrific to have your company. I'm Nick McCarville. With me, Greg Martin, and a man who has some very fond memories of Millennium Stadium here in Cardiff. George Gregan, welcome to you. The wait has been excruciating. What's it been like for the players?
Yeah, well, it has been excruciating for players and fans and everyone who's over here for the Rugby World Cup. I bumped into, obviously, Ben McCalman and also Bernard Foley yesterday when we checked into the hotel, and they were really, really anxious to get out there and play. The long wait has been pretty much the drought's broken. They want to get out there and play and show what they can do against Fiji.
So, Marto, they've been sitting there in Bath where they've been based, and they would have watched, well, they did watch Fiji and England in the tournament opener last Friday. So there would have been some lessons out of that for the Wallabies.
Well, there's good and bad. The good is that we just watched Japan get squished by Scotland with a short turnaround. Now, Fiji got hammered physically by England, especially towards the end of the game. So they'll be hurting. That's the good part, whereas the Wallabies are daisy fresh. The bad part is that every team's taken, apart from Ireland, has taken a little bit to get rid of what I'd say is called ring rust. They're just half a second off. You can't get it perfect at training. That's the bad, and they have to get that out of their system as quickly as possible because Fiji will already have that sorted.
Indeed. All right. Wallaby coach Michael Checker, he always says that he doesn't get all that nervous on match day. He says game day is pretty much the easy part of the week, but I wonder how he's feeling about this one, the Wallaby coach.
Well, Michael, of course, there's always pressure every test match. There's pressure. What's it been like leading into this World Cup for you?
I don't know if it's pressure, more excitement. Maybe it's the same sort of feeling, I don't know, but I think everyone's been very excited about from getting here, like even the whole voyage over. I've seen that in training, you know, and in a way it's been quite good sitting back to be the last of the first pool games, and we've had a chance to have a look at everything, and we've got everyone wants to play footy. I think they're sick of training, so we're looking forward to the game. So, yeah, I'd say excitement's been the main thing, especially in these last few days.
You obviously have seen Fiji play. What have you made of them?
Yeah, they've got some danger, you know, and I think they've really shored up a lot of the areas where perhaps previously they've been a bit vulnerable, you know, and their set pieces. They've done very well in the set pieces against England the other day. Their defence is very solid, and I think what it comes down to, like in most test matches, is taking the opportunities that present themselves and making sure you do it well.
First opportunity for the team to be selected at the World Cup. Very strong team you've got out.
Yeah, I think after the Rugby Championship, we made a base selection that we wanted to go with for our first game and tried to train those guys as much as possible together. We mixed and matched in the US, and then but all throughout that whole time, that's the way those teams have been training. You know, a few changes here or there, but you know, with the idea of coming into this game with that side. So we're really pleased with our preparations, and now it's time to play.
Enjoy today.
We will. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Michael Checker with the game face on. He's done it all, of course, Super Rugby title, Heineken Cup rather, but it doesn't get any bigger than this, does it?
He's only had been handed the keys to the Wallaby vehicle for less than a year. The turnaround in culture and also fitness, that's been the biggest one. So that's what I'm looking forward to see, those finishes, and also the players will be on there for full 80, finishing the game off.
All right, what about the Fijians? They weren't entirely happy with their performance against England in that tournament opener. Here is their coach, John McKee.
Thank you, Nick. Well, it was always going to be a tough ask, 5-day turnaround for the Fijians. And John McKee, have you had enough time to iron out a few of those problems?
Oh, look, we learned a few lessons on last Friday night, and yes, we've had enough time with our training. Good session on Monday, really nailed down a few things.
OK, well, 30-odd missed tackles against England, a lot late in the game. Have the tackling bags been out this week?
Oh, look, we're looking at our tackle technique, yes. Yeah, we did a bit of work on that for sure.
You've spent a lot of time coaching in Australia, so does that give you some insight into what to expect from the Wallabies?
Oh, look, I know, it's a new coaching staff there now, and they're bringing in some different things, different approach, but you see familiar familiar Australian styles of play there, and we expect them to play quite an expensive game today, which would suit us.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, what can we expect from the Flying Fijians? Any change from the game against England, the game plan?
Oh, look, I think today's game will be much more open. Both teams will have an attitude to play an expensive game, probably quite different to the game last week. Certainly that's the way we want to play, so we'll see how it pans out.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a moment to go quickly back to Rod Kafer, and with thanks to Land Rover, today's key matchup. Kafe.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. One of the key matchups tonight, of course, will be the half-backs, two players in some ways really similar, great running footballers, both of these guys, roughly the same sort of size, but players who can really add a lot to the game, particularly Will Genia. We love Will Genia when he's doing this sort of thing, running with the ball. It's when he's been at his absolute best, and that's something that Michael Cheika will be looking for from him. We know he's got such a devastating running game, and also the thing that probably sets him apart is that little bit of kicking that he can do. Matawalu, of course, had a blinder against England in the opening match 4 or 5 days ago. Fantastic running player, good kicking game, and a player who adds a lot around the edge of rucks and mauls. The Wallabies will be really looking, particularly in their defensive structures, to make sure that they don't give him any space at all, because he can really hurt you.
Yeah, good stuff, Kate. Thanks for that. Looking forward to seeing Will Genia in action. He is he's trimmed down, and we know that he plays his best rugby when he's just a couple of kilos lighter. He's obviously done a lot of hard work.
Well, they're all in great shape. We saw them warming up, and they look really, really lean. They look very hungry. And I think Will Genia, seeing those images of him playing that running game, he's a dangerous, dangerous player, and he's world-class when he's in that form, and he adds so much to your attack, and it'd be great to see him taking off from what we saw over there in the US.
Now, Greg Clark's going to take us through the teams in just a moment, but the other thing that we're looking forward to, and it worked against the All Blacks in that Bledisloe one, the two open sides, Pocock and Hooper.
Yeah, they may not go with it throughout the World Cup, but they're having a crack day, and I think it's the right thing. You saw the Fijians against England on Friday night, 11 turnovers. They're not just a threat with their open side, their whole team are quick, are very reactive, so they'll have to be on their best performance tonight. But I love to see they're two of our best forwards. Why not play them? We'll find out again tonight.
All right, let's get a word with the Wallaby captain, Stephen Moore. He's closing in on that ton. He should knock that off here at the World Cup today, his 97th Test match. Stephen Moore.
Well, Steve, back again. Test match rugby, special being at a World Cup.
Yeah, it is, mate. We've been over here a while. Obviously, I think we're the last team to play, so the boys are very much looking forward to today, getting out there and getting going.
We can see there's been a lot of hard work put in. Everyone looks really fit, lean. There's been some yards done.
Yeah, there has. We've trained really hard in the US, and since we've arrived in the UK as well. So preparation's gone well. I think we're ready to play now, so we're looking forward to getting out there.
Fiji were really impressive up front.
They were. I thought they were terrific against England. So those parts of the game that you probably wouldn't normally associate with Fiji, I thought they were really strong. So it's going to be a good test for us.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Coach. Cheers.
Yeah, the set piece surprisingly strong, particularly the scrum against England from the Fijians.
Of course, England always fancy themselves in the scrum, and to be dusted twice, 2 tight heads they took off England. That's going to be a surprising threat for us, but our line-out's also sharp. I'm looking forward. That'll be a big decider of tonight's game.
Yeah, the set piece is important. You spoke about the line-out and the scrum for Fiji. Probably just waned a little bit on the back end, the last probably 20 minutes. That's where England got the ascendancy. But before then, created a lot of pressure. So it's going to be a good test for the Wallaby pack.
So this game now, for months, you talk to the Wallabies, they don't want to talk about anything in the World Cup past game 1 against Fiji. Now, obviously, the win is important, but what else are you looking forward to?
Well, just the basics, It's the small things which matter. So get your line out right, get your first up tackling, get your technique at the breakdown, get your passing skills. All the real simple things in the game of rugby make a huge difference, and that gives you confidence to play.
I'm looking forward to the finishes. We keep talking about them. I know we're fit, but when those reserves come on, I'm looking for us to power away from Fiji.
Yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to your company throughout this one. We are finally underway. The Wallabies and Fiji here at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. And a quick congratulations to Greg Clark, Fox Sports voice of rugby, calling his 150th Test match tonight. You're going to see every moment right here on Fox Sports.
I really believe that this group of players is growing into a team that wants to play together, that wants to enjoy the tough moments, and that gives me a lot of comfort.
The first game of our campaign is everything. That's what we've spoken about. That's our target, is to hit that first game and play some of our best rugby and show all those people back home watching just what we're about, how we want to represent them, and we certainly want to make them proud when they're sitting there watching us play.
Puts it on the toe for Adamashi Cooper to chase, picks it up, try!
We don't have to do anything different because it's the World Cup. You have to do your role, you have to do it really well, and you have to enjoy doing it.
I think belief comes from hard work and good preparation. We've worked really hard, we've trained how we want to play, and we know what we're representing and who we're representing. We're looking forward to going out there and showing that against Fiji.
We've got a lot of threats, both in attack and defence. I've seen a lot of these Fijian players improve in Europe, playing over there when I was coaching there, and craft their work there and in the Southern Hemisphere in Super Rugby now.
To Volavola, who puts it in the air, kicking across for Nadolo! Tractor!
As captain, I guess you dream of lifting that trophy, but I'm firmly of the belief that we've got to get through the first part of it to get to the ends.
It's going to be a great test for us, and so it should be. It's the first game of the World Cup in a very, very, I suppose, big pool, and every game will count one at a time, and this is a very important night for us.
Well, that is what is at stake over the coming weeks to Webb Ellis Cup, and we are at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, one of the iconic rugby stadiums around the world. Australia versus Fiji. It's been a long wait for the Aussies, and Stephen Moore, the 32-year-old, will play his 97th Test match and captain Australia, and his opponent is Akapusi Ngana, the 31-year-old, playing his 49th Test match. And he plays for Montpellier in France, a very seasoned professional, one of many professionals in this Fiji outfit. So the Aussies are ready. They've had to be patient sitting out the opening 5 days of the Rugby World Cup, but the upside to that is the fact that they've been able to get a handle on their Pool A opponents. They won their warm-up match against the USA in Chicago, putting on an unanswered 33 points in the second half. Fiji, they're ranked 9th in the world, coming off a 35-11 loss to England last Friday. They were within 7 of their opponents in the second half, but couldn't go on with it, conceding 17 unanswered points late in the match. Just a 5-day turnaround, so it hasn't been the perfect preparation for a crunch game against the second-ranked team in World Rugby. The Webb Ellis Cup greets Australia and Fiji. And listen to the roar in Cardiff. Australia won the Rugby Championship title downing South Africa, New Zealand and Argentina, but they lost the second Bledisloe Cup test to the All Blacks in Auckland. That hurt the momentum, going for 13 straight victories against Fiji back to 1961. And their last encounter was in 2010. Well, Greg Martin is alongside me, Rod Kafer is sideline. Mono, great to see the Wallabies back in Cardiff.
Certainly it's been a wait, and last time here they were very successful. Wonderful team, they are so fit. That's what you'll notice at home, how they've gone away and freshened up in that period they were in the USA. They are so frighteningly fit.
Plenty of Fiji fans in the crowd as well, and coach John McKee has made 4 changes, all in the pack. I believe that was always going to be the case because it was going to be too hard for everyone to back up. Plus they have 1 suspended forward as well. so much passion on display at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. The roof is closed, thank goodness for that, Marto, because I'm told it is raining outside.
Yep, perfect conditions. The ground is made for running rugby. I don't know whether that's better for the Flying Fijians, but the Wallabies also want to play expansively.
Well, the Fijians, they've played one Rugby World Cup match at this venue, a victory over Canada back in 2007. What a journey so far in 2015. Opening game at Twickenham and now playing at Millennium Stadium. They're about to throw down the challenge to the Wallabies with their new war dance, the Bole.
Terrible pity last Friday night at Twickenham. The English fans sang over the top of it. They get a chance to really make this a feature.
Great support for the Flying Fijians in Cardiff. Speaking of Fijians, they've been to Kuridrani up against his cousin from Fiji, Nadolo. Let's go sideline. Rod Caper, what about this atmosphere under the roof?
Fantastic, Clarkie. Australians in the crowd, enjoying their opportunity in Cardiff. Lots of them around this morning, of course, walking through the streets and getting a sense of it. And now they're here in the ground enjoying Millennium Stadium. What a fantastic sight it is. A magnificent cathedral for rugby.
Well, the Wallabies are 3 from 3 at Millennium Stadium in Rugby World Cup matches. A quarter-final victory and final in 1999. A pool game against Wales in 2007. And Rod Caper, what about this Fiji lineup?
Yeah, a few changes from the game last week. Ngera at open side, very, very good. Of course, in 11, Nadolo will cause some damage. And Marto, the Wallabies, pretty strong side.
Well, everyone wants to know how the back row, but will be known by the end of this tournament as the Fardy Poopers. See how they go. And other than that, it's Giteau's experience so important at inside centre. Genia, will he run?
And the reserves, a lot of experience there on the Australian bench. And for Fiji, look for them to make their mark. 21, Ganatali, very experienced. Tiko Ratuma, of course, we know him from Super Rugby when he was at the Chiefs. Nadolo, a try against England at Twickenham. Been in great form in recent seasons. Born in Fiji, raised in Australia, but one that got away. And Michael Hooper, the vice-captain, 23 years of age, his 47th Test match. 14 is Waisea Nayacalevu from Stade Francais. Bernard Foley gets the first crack in the 10 jersey at the Rugby World Cup. Referee is Glenn Jackson from New Zealand. Countdown is on to kick off the Wallabies. The wait is over. Their campaign at Rugby World Cup 2015 is underway. Fiji kicking off, and it's Simmons taking it cleanly just outside the 22. Genia, Douglas through the hands early, and Giteau. Folau got the ball away to Kuridrani. Up to the 10-metre mark and down the short side. Genia throws it back on the inside, but he just put a foot on the line. He thought he was going to catch some napping right in front of you, Rod Caper.
Very good little run from Will Genia. He's going to look for that all day. We know that he loves to run, and that's why he's in there. The Wallabies have used this play. They used it in the first play against the USA last week to get themselves out of trouble.
Good line-out win by Fiji. Nayacalevu taken 5 or 6 metres inside Australian territory. Volavola, and through the hands, early touch for Nadolo, who crashed into Adam Ashley Cooper, but a little isolated there. And the penalty goes to the Wallabies.
Well, the penalty came, but smart play by the Fijians. complained the other night watching them that they didn't get it to Nadolo often enough. They were so determined to throw it wide to him. Volavola had a sluggish start, a nervous start against the Englishman. He did actually go at the defence. They got their first injury after that line out centre field. The tackle was made by Hooper and Horne. Horne will be defending in the 5'8" position. Foley will be covering across the back when they're in defence of the Wallabies.
Yeah, an early problem for Fiji, but they're going to play on.
Move down, Fiji.
Doesn't look too good at all.
Well, it's a big advantage for the Aussies in the first line out. No
Such a key player too, Waisea Nayacalevu.
Sorry.
No, Glenn Jackson has stopped the game.
In real trouble here. The 25-year-old, his first Rugby World Cup. Came through the sevens like so many of the Fijian stars. Stade Francais, the 2014-2015 French champs. Another look at it here. So
I think it's the knee that's been injured. So Hooper tackled him low. Didn't seem to be too many worries. The Australians didn't throw too many into the breakdown, of course. Since the tackle, did that right knee get pushed? Maybe a medial ligament? There's nothing sinister.
No, good copybook tackle there by Hooper, who went low.
And then went to jackal the ball. Couldn't get to it. Nayacalevu was left on the ground.
He'll be playing his rugby in France after the World Cup with Genia in Paris. So he'll try and run this out.
Play off.
Tiko Rituma. Asali Tiko Rituma might be required before too long.
No worries there. 3 years with the Chiefs, Super Rugby.
And a good opening line-out win for the Wallabies, and they get the roll on here. Pocock at the back, and now he releases and gives it to Giteau. Foley up from fullback is Folau. There he goes again, beating one or two defenders. Inside the 22 they go, and Fardy has a run. Genia wants quick ball, gives it now to Kepu. Terrific opportunity early on for the Wallabies. Genia out to Foley, and he gave it to Rob Horne. He was picked up and dumped there. Good tackle by Yato. To the short side they go, and losing it after all that build-up was Adam Ashley Cooper. So a let-off for Fiji. Natani Telai. And back in the pocket now is Nadolo, who gives it a decent thump into the stands.
Wallabies pretty keen to use the width at every opportunity they get. Adam Ashley Cooper here slips and just tries to work his way to get the ball back. It slips out forward, but real width on the game at the moment, Mardo.
There seemed to be a determination to use Israel Folau. That's twice already, and that's what the Australians need. He's their star go-to man.
Well, Hooper winning the line out at the front. Pocock having a run. Number 8 on his back, and he ran right over the top of Lovobalavu. So they're into the 22 again, Australia. Genia and Foley. Now Folau taking them on. Oh, he popped one out the back door. It was too high.
It was ambitious, Cape, and they go wide again. But who said that David Pocock wasn't your traditional running back rower? That was a cracking run.
Great carry that Wallabies used Michael Hooper at the front of the line out. They've talked a lot about developing Michael Hooper as a jumper. Pocock, the running back rower, did really well. Good start to the game from the Wallaby back row. Scott Fardy involved early. They'll compete heavily here on the Fiji ball. This 4-man line out. Scott Fardy looking to go up at the front.
So Nayacalevu is off for Fiji, and the loose ball eventually cleaned up by Fiji. So the penalty will now go to Fiji as well.
Yeah, they're offside after the knock forward. It was pretty scrappy. Centre field, they competed hard.
One of the features of the Wallabies in recent times, has been their discipline, particularly coming out of the opposition's end of the field. They don't like giving away penalties in that sort of position. The Wallabies now, with the way they set up their line-out defence, it's Giteau defending at hooker. He'll drop back to the blind wing.
Line out one by Fiji.
Scott CO defending in the traditional 5/8 position there.
Volavola keeps it low, and Folau flings it across to Adam Ashley Cooper, who'll drop it onto the right foot, and he's overcooked that one by not 1 metre, about 10 metres.
Well, getting a razzing from the independent Fijians in the crowd. Anyone not supporting Australia is supporting Fiji. Michael Checker going, what is that? And that's the sort of rustiness that most teams have knocked out in their first round games. Maybe only Ireland was almost mistake-free over the weekend.
Tuapati throws in, finds a target. It pops up for Matawalu. He's hammered there. Putting it onto the toe there on that occasion was Nadolo, and the kick through from the Australians. It is play on, Volavola. Was that forward? Yeah. It was indeed. So under a bit of pressure there, Fiji. The pass was forward, and it'll come back for a scrum inside the Fiji 22.
Gee, there are a couple of moments there, but they're so determined to get it to Nadolo. They're making mistakes getting it to their huge left winger. He just dropped it onto his foot, and the Australians benefited, Cave.
Yeah, they did. A little bit of a mix-up there in defence. Tavita Kuridrani, Adam Ashley Cooper getting caught out. Michael Checker calling the knock-on. Now here's the test. First time we see the Wallaby scrum in the Rugby World Cup. All eyes around the world, particularly in this pool, are on this scrum. Fiji scrummage really, really well on Friday against England.
Pool A, Australia, Fiji, Wales, England, Uruguay. Genia puts it in.
Let's not forget, Fiji took 2 tight heads from England last Friday night.
It's just sitting there.
The ball hasn't been hooked yet. Oh, it's been hooked the wrong way. Can't get his foot up, Stephen Moore. Now does.
So slowly but surely it comes back. Foley gives it to Kuridrani on the angle run. Good tackle by Lovobalavu. Why'd they go, Rob Horne? He can't control it.
They've come back for their penalty to Australia. Holding back a man, I think it was. Oh, that could have been anything.
So a penalty right in front of the sticks.
Yeah, good early signs, a good scrummage. The Wallabies will enjoy the contest. Nice little run from Tavita Kuridrani, little OI play. And this is what Bernard Foley's really good at. When he flattens the line and takes it to them, he asks questions, asks players on the outside to make decisions. There's the penalty. As you can see, it's Matt Giteau getting dumped. It's a good clean out from Michael Hooper.
Foley took him ahead again. He's on the front foot, taking them forward. That's why he's the fly half.
Yeah, really good when he's square to the line, Marto. Shoulders at the line. Takes those first 2 steps forward. That's when he's at his best. He'll ask questions all night from the players in defence on his outside.
And then finally, in a few minutes' time, he'll throw the dummy and crack him open.
Landed 6 from 7 attempts against the USA a couple of weeks ago. Wallaby goal kicking 63% in the Rugby Championship, 90% the last 2 tests. So it's on the improve. An easy one first up for Bernard Foley, so he scores Australia's first points in Rugby World Cup 2015. It's Australia 3, Fiji 0.
Pretty good though, eh?
Yeah, decent start to the Australians. They had a lot of territorial dominance there. Finally took some points out of it. Volavola, former Waratah, restarts.
And again it goes down to Simmons as well. Takes it outside the 22. Now Douglas, what a story. Left Australia, had a stint with Leinster. had plenty of injuries, and he's decided to sign for the Reds and head home, and that's why he's back in the Wallabies. Penalty to Australia.
Yeah, Saulo. Might have been Mafu. I thought it was Saulo. Not rolling out of the ruck, getting in the way of any quick ball by the Wallabies. That's what they're seeking. Just ill-disciplined stuff. I think the Fijians have had 6 players sin bin in their last 4 test match, and at this World Cup already we've seen that referees loving to pull the yellow card out of their pocket, and that's when teams have been surging ahead in the game. One team's one man down.
Right down. Keep going. Right down.
Already 3 penalties conceded by Fiji. Stephen Moore. Again goes to Hooper at the front, and then it's Pocock with the carry. Fardy. Genia. Foley stepping, running back into some traffic.
Yeah, nothing outside him.
And the penalty goes against Australia, holding on.
5 on his feet.
Leone Nakarawa, number 5, was on his feet, entitled to play at the ball, the man from the Glasgow Warriors.
Yeah, Keith, they switched back to the right-hand side, changed the point of attack, but Foley only had way out on the outside Adam Ashley Cooper, and it just wasn't enough. He stepped back inside, and I think it took a lot of his forwards, who were the ones who were going to do the cleaning out, took them by surprise.
It seemed like it was a little bit of a pre-planned call, perhaps, and guys didn't read it particularly well. Bernard Foley should have had at least one other on his outside there.
Oh, I see Stephen Moore got tripped, therefore he couldn't clean out. That's the problems.
First opportunity for Fiji now.
Good touch finder. A good take by Nakarawa. So good field position. The Australian 22. Matawalu to Volavola, who throws the dummy and steps in the inside ball to Matawalu. That wasn't high, says the referee, and there's the kick, and it's going to beat everybody into touch about a metre out from the corner post.
Well, if you had your time again, I think you'd hang on to that ball rather than stabbing it through, giving the ball back to Australia from the line out. They were on the front foot. Yeah, good call, Glenn Jackson. That tackle in midfield was certainly on the arms. Good ball by Ben Volavola.
Good start by Volavola. He's a little nervous against England on Friday. So Stephen Moore goes to the back and finds Simmons down to Genia, and now Hooper onto the left foot of Giteau, and just manages to beat the defender coming through looking for the charge down. Matt Giteau, 32 years of age, his 97th test match.
This next one's the tackle. I think it's, is it Hooper or no, it's Kane Douglas. So he's saying they're going to be very careful with high tackles. No problem, says Jacko, Glenn Jackson.
Talebula Tuapati throws in, and it's a loose.
Knocked forward by Australia.
So Fiji have it about 10 metres inside Australian territory. Nakarawa. Matawalu looking for a runner. He finds Cavubati.
7 out.
Matawalu pops one over the top, and into touch goes Saulo. He ran out of room, the front rower.
That'll look all right from down there, Cave.
Oh, they've come to play again, Fiji. They're not frightened to use this ball every opportunity. Great little dart by Matawalu out of the side there. It's a big foot in touch.
Well, that's Saulo. He's played all 16 tests since John McKee took over as coach. Started in all 8 tests in 2015.
115-kilogram ballerina, that's what he is.
So it's Australia 3, Fiji 0.
They got away with that one. They got away with that one, the Fijians.
There's the box kick from Genia. It's going to come down for the new man, Tikoi Ratuma. And now to Vita Cavubati. Volavola. Ma'afu. Nonova. Throwing the dummy. Again, it was Hooper going low. and knocked on by Fiji, so we're going to have a scrum on the 10-metre mark.
A little dribbler at the back, I think it was Ngera, their captain at number 7, just came through. I think he was scooping up to go around the top side with a pick and drive.
Well, Marty, you've got two of the Wallabies' best defenders in Michael Hooper and David Pocock. Pocock, you see them both there making this tackle. Pocock missed 4 tackles in all of Super Rugby season, 96 out of 100, 96% tackle success rate. One of the great defenders, so good on the ball. Very hard to find space against them. The middle of the field. Now we see the Wallabies with a centre field scrum. Tavita Kuridrani on the right. Israel Folau tucked in with Bernard Foley right in behind the scrum.
What do you reckon? Will Genia to go that top side, the blind side, take the first defender? Will Izzy Folau follow him on the inside maybe, and Kuridrani on the outside? What a devastating combo.
So again, it's trapped in there. Stephen Moore taking his time to get a foot on the pill.
What a battle of mass.
Penalty goes to Fiji.
Well, there wasn't much in that, was there? There is now. Good view of it from Ref Cab. Yeah. Quickly extinguished with the lots of hugs. See, I don't think you say that scrum dominance. Something just had to give.
Well, aren't they happy, the Fijians? 4 changes in the pack that started against England at Twickenham. John McKee, the head coach, assisted by Franz Ludecker with the scrummaging. And Ludecker, of course, coach of the Bulls in Super Rugby.
Yeah, it was the great work from Kampizi Ma'afu on the loose head side. Just managed to turn himself in enough to get the better of Sekope Kepu's. Great scrummaging. A little bit of angle there, but when it's been going for that long, you've got to try something, and he got away with it and did really well. They're a very good scrummaging unit. Fiji, they're going to put the Wallabies under pressure, there's no doubt about that. Will Genia and Stephen Moore, after that scrum, Stephen Moore went straight over to him and had a chat about the feed. He probably just wants it a little bit more favourably under his foot so he can hook at it, because he is a tall hooker. Sometimes struggle to get the foot up.
Keep an eye on that though, Keith. They're very keen on the halfbacks having square shoulders as they feed.
Good take at the line out again from Nakarawa. That was another feature of their play against England. The driving ball from the line out. Trapped at the back by Talai.
Well, his back's coming into it now.
And they charge forward. Fiji. They're not flying at the moment, they're just rumbling, and now they break away and the arm goes out, advantage being played. Matawalu, Nakarawa.
They've got a penalty coming their way.
Goneva. Now that's Cavubati. Nothing happening there, so he'll go back, and there is a penalty to Fiji.
Yeah, collapsed ball by the Australians. Eventually, it took a while. You got to think they'll go to the line out again and try the same driving maul.
Yeah, great setup from Fiji. The Wallabies weren't expecting it. Very high in their maul defence. And you're right, Marto. Then Volavola finds touch to the delight of the crowd. And here they come again, Fiji. See the Wallabies how high they are. There's Scott Fardy deliberately collapsing it. Great call from Glenn Jackson. Fiji play on. It was Fardy who generated the turnover, but come back with the advantage now.
They've got to be careful. If they collapse this one here, which is going to be driven again, if they collapse that, somebody might end up in the bin from the Wallabies.
It goes to the back this time. Good take by Yato. And Talai getting close. Offside again by Australia. Just got the timing wrong there. So real problems here for Australia. Fiji and Volavola kicking across. He's got a couple of jumpers out here. And Ashley Cooper was there to clean up, but will come back for another penalty.
Whoa, 3-on-1 on Folau, unable to take the aerial overhead. But they got a shot in front to equalise.
7 and then 5.
Let's get the crowd cranked up.
John McKee, Australian-based coach for many years. We're pretty happy with this start. Halfway through the first half, and it's going to be locked up 3-3 after the kick, you'd think.
Very physical. They were backing themselves here, but the Wallabies, Cave suggested they get low. They're low there, putting the man straight on the ground, not wrestling.
You can see Michael Hooper there a couple of times just in front of the last feet. Wallabies won't mind giving away that penalty now, conceding the 3 points. Go back now, try to grab the momentum back. Took a lot of juice out of Fiji, that little period of attack.
Running Nadolo with his first attempt from right in front. He had scored 44 points in the 3 tests leading into this one. And the Fijian fans pretty happy with the way they've fought back. 3-all. John McKee has his family here, and he's not too worried about it, but his son, a twin, Blaze, who goes to Trinity College in Sydney, is wearing his Wallaby jersey. Sorry, Dad, you're not going to change me overnight.
Well, what's happening with the other twin?
Not too sure about that.
He'll get Dad's favouritism if he's got a Fiji jersey on. None of it.
Good take. Inside 22 now, just outside. And the penalty goes against Australia again. Well, he's going to have to be careful with the discipline.
Yeah, no stage. That looked legal when the ball's on the ground 1 second and flying through the air. Scott Fardy must have pulled on it while he was on the ground. The Bush Ranger, he's definitely in our bearded 15 so far at the World Cup. The Canadians have got a couple of contenders for that outfit.
But a much better start from Ben Volavola tonight for Fiji. It was really deep against England last Friday. Tonight much flatter, looking to engage the defence. Probably feels a little bit more comfortable in the 10 jersey.
I just saw the replay there with Fardy. He was still on his feet from just before that ball popped out.
No clear release though.
Yeah.
Matawalu. Oh! Tiko returned and got rid of Michael Hooper. And now Matawalu. And over it goes to the fullback Talebula. They've come to play, Fiji. And it's been stolen. And Foley kicks ahead.
Oh no.
And one bounce into touch.
That's not what they wanted. They survived a real pressureful situation. I would have figured that they was better off giving it to Nadolo so he could keep wreaking havoc on that left side. Gee, Hooper took a huge hit centre field. I didn't think he was going to get up, but he's no problems at all.
Great tackle out wide. We see Hooper shoulder on shoulder.
Team is one of the smallest Fijians.
There's a great turnover by Adam Ashley Cooper. David Pocock got over the ball. Adam Ashley Cooper stole it.
Carry back.
Here's the danger man.
Oh, that's gone forward, has it? From no, play on.
Oh, hold on.
Good turnover.
And it's been turned over. And Rob Horne gives it to Tavita Kuridrani, who dummies, and he's pulled down only about a metre out. Fardy's been played for Australia as they try and slow it down. Dropped by Hooper, but will come back for the penalty.
This will be their first line out and drive for the Australians from this penalty. Kuridrani, I don't think he realised he had Adam Ashley Cooper was looming, had two men. He thought he only had one on his outside if we see the replay. Responded quickly.
Yeah, turnover was great midfield. It's a Pocock again.
Yep.
Generates it. And this ball needed to be shifted. Players are flat. It was good there. Early shift. Bernard Foley.
Adam Ashley Cooper. On the
yeah, just wanted the ball. He was running the unders line. Coming back. Michael Hooper drops it cold, and now the Wallabies get a chance to regroup. This is what we expected from Fiji. They were very, very physical early against England. They've got a good set piece. They're a little bit battle-hardened. Wallabies coming off a long break without a great deal of rugby, a little bit rusty. Just got to keep working away now. Put some pressure on at the line out. One of the better driving mauls going around. The Wallabies would feel like they're a good opportunity to score here. Pocock special.
If I could rush to a betting shop, I'd put some on. Pocock scoring a try here in about 8 seconds.
There's the charge from the Wallabies. Good formation. It's trapped at the back. Just need to be patient here. Now they're going to release it.
Took a penalty to stop Pocock.
And Genia wide. Picked up now by Matt Giteau. Running across field. Back into the traffic. Just needs to buy a bit of time. 5 metres out.
Still got a penalty coming, the Wallabies.
Moore went pretty low. Foley. Folau. Was that high?
Yes, it was. Could be a yellow card here.
Big man on big man. Nadolo.
You've got to get pretty high to hit Israel Folau high. No worries, no malice. Well, they were foiled in their first attempt at a driving maul, but they'll back themselves in this time. It took a penalty to stop it. Very well schooled. Israel Folau, so dangerous on that sidestep. Came off the ball, but yeah, there's no doubt it's a penalty. A couple of Brisbane schoolboys, Nadolo and Israel Folau, went their separate ways in life.
Good win at the line out. Good formation again.
Oh, good defence.
Advantage being played again, and now it's over the line and it is a try. So it is David Pocock who scores the first try of the Rugby World Cup 2015 for Australia, and that is Pocock's 5th Test try.
Oh, well, Kate, it was predictable. They tried it on the other side. They had to go there. Michael check as steady as she go, and it's something that works. It's not pretty. I know the other opposition doesn't get a chance to compete, and it's completely legal, and they'll be using it all year at the Brumbies. They've transferred it into the gold jersey with the Wallabies. They wait, and then they find the soft centre of the defence and go hard and low. Pocock.
Pocock had to be patient there. The maul swung a couple of times. Sometimes less experienced players may think they've got to get off. Pocock stayed on as long as he could. There was only one man left in front of him. Spun off and scored the try. Wallabies will be happy. That'll settle them down a little bit. They're in a real battle up front. They knew that coming into the game. They've used their line out to full effect in their driving maul to score their first try.
David Pocock missed 2 seasons of Test rugby. He was a captain in 5 Tests. 51st Test match for Australia. Great to see him back. Bernard Foley. 5 metres in from touch. It's over! 10 points to 3. Those wearing gold. Pretty happy.
The corresponding the World Cup in 2011 New Zealand, he was far and away the Australian's best player. He had so many tests out of the game in the last 2-3 seasons. Wonderful for the Australians that he and Hooper can be paired together. Long may they be never separated.
I'll tell you what, the word from Camp Wallaby is that young Sean McMahon is certainly putting on some pressure as well.
Did you see him in the foyer last night? The muscles on that young man. He is the up-and-coming warrior. John McKee, Ben Volavola, going to the Crusaders as 5'8" in 2016. Fair shoes to fill there. Colin Slade and Dan Carter's. High expectations. Centre field scrum. Rod Caver, we haven't seen a set move from the scrum yet. John McKee, the Fijian coach.
No, it'll be interesting to see the feed. Just watch how Will Genia feeds this ball, whether he finds a little bit of
flick,
a little bit of Shane Warne's spin on it, perhaps, in the left hand. to get it through. Same setup in the back line. Let's have a look. That's a bit better.
Oh, yeah, under the feet. That's not legal. It's close enough. It normally is. World Cup, they wanted you to put it in the centre.
Genia. Kuridrani. Oh, big tackle coming in from Patelli. Yato. Douglas out the back to Giteau. Stephen Moore, the captain, having a run in midfield.
Yeah, he had to soak up some defenders.
Giteau throws the dummy and then takes them on. Genia to Fardy. Afu over the top, shutting him down. Knocked backwards from Genia and Foley. Just giving it to Scott Seo. Foley, wide they go. Pocock charging onto it and throwing it into the turf. And is he going to have a look at something here as well?
Is that Nadolo in trouble?
Okay. Get back. Number 3. Here.
No.
He's going to the pocket.
You're kicking the ball away from the ruck. Then you got kick ball. Yes. Away.
So Campese Mafu.
Kicking the ball when it's available.
Yellow card for the man named after David Campese. Campese Ma'afu.
Was that the Stephen Moore tackle that was a little bit earlier? So it was the Stephen Moore tackle, then Giteau took it further to the left.
Straight boot there.
Righto. That's the thing. The TMO is working on the run. So Glenn Jackson, it all happened very quickly. There's been criticism from the first 9 games that the TMO took too much time to make decisions. They're trying to do it while the game's in flow.
Well, Mato, as you know, Glenn Jackson, former fly half, and loves quick ball. Hates it when he sees the front rower destroy quick ball for a back line.
Yep.
Always going to penalise him.
We've got Pocock at halfback. It only means one thing. Here comes the driving wall. They'll probe the weakness and then go on the train.
Here they go again. And David Pocock has got a double. But I think he'll be sharing the points with the Wallaby pack. Clinical with the rolling maul.
Whoa, that's what it's about. Get yourself bound. And you can't go wide. You have a look, they're very single or double file. That's it. You can't go 3-4 wide. What a magnificent setup. Then you probe where the weakness is. You make the call whether you're going to go left or right. It's quite obvious, right? Look at that. It's 6 on 2, 6 on none in the end. And his second try in 3 minutes.
Tremendous work here from Kepu. Just watch their number 3. You'll see him turn, go forward. He's the one who drives it over. Kepu spun himself out, nearly lost his footing, held on and just kept his feet going. Scott Seo was with him. It twisted away from Scott Fardy, who was the original point of attack. He lost his footing. But well done to Kepu. Kept them moving forward, balanced things up, even though they had a lot of pace on. David Pocock patient again.
Think about it, England won the 2003 World Cup, not just on Wilkinson's boot, but on a rolling maul that was technically magnificent.
Bernard Foley. And this time he's hooked it out to the left, so it is 15 points to 3 after 32 minutes in Cardiff.
Gee, I don't like to see that easy conversion being missed. That's the things we've got to fix. Australia's going to win this World Cup. Look at that. Everyone working so hard. The little feet's driving. As soon as it slowed down, everyone started working their feet hard. Got the momentum going, and then it was unstoppable. The problems all stemmed when Volavola put the last one out on the full.
This one is okay, and it's taken by Rob Horne. Kepu. Oh, and a slight juggle there from Bowley, then on the left foot of
well played.
Giteau.
Well played, Matt Giteau.
Talebula, and touched by Adam Ashley Cooper. So we'll have a line out about 30 metres out from the Fiji line.
Great option, Mato, isn't it, having a left footer in the back line?
Magnificent.
Kick off, you can just get yourself out of trouble if the team matches up with you, as they did very well there, Fiji, were aware of the play, and it was some poor passing in the midfield from Kane Douglas. Giteau just puts it on the left foot, bangs it 60.
Shorter line out this time from Fiji, but successful again. Volavola. Lovobalavu offloads to Goneva in midfield. Down a man at the moment, Fiji. Matawalu. Volavola. Gives it a decent thump down to Ashley Cooper. Not renowned for his kicking. Inside, Genia, and he can't control it. Look for the offload. Wasn't in full control, and so it's there for Nadolo.
They've got the scrum advantage for the knock forward. Right option by Ashley Cooper, especially after his last go when it went out on the full. He's decided to run. Genia was in perfect posse. Just unbalanced on the left. Wasn't expecting that hit.
So we're going to have to make a change because we need a front rower out there. Penny Rabbi in 17 will come out. And that means Patheli Yato will go to the bench. Campisi Ma'afu, the prop, is in the sin bin.
Keep the stability, it's their ball, keep the stability.
Matawalu, Fijian scrum up, has been in great form. He's going to play for Bath in the UK after the Rugby World Cup. One of 3 scrum halves used in 2015, but it's hard to see anyone taking over from him.
That's their first scrum feed, and they're in trouble, Fijians. Not now.
And Nadolo got away from a couple, pulled down by Giteau. And a good tackle, and the penalty will go against him.
Israel Folau. You don't need Pocock and Hooper to do everything. He was straight on there after the tackle was made. Nadolo was making that run down the left, and who caught him from behind? Was it Rob Horne, I guess?
Giteau.
It was Giteau.
Yeah. Look, it was set up perfectly. I was sitting here watching that unfold thinking Mamani Nadolo was against Bernard Foley. This kick's not out from Matt Giteau.
Just trying to chew off a few more metres, and he came unstuck, and so Tuasela Talebula kicks down to Folau on the charge. Israel Folau just puts it on the toe, and it sets up for Volavola. Throws a poor pass, but the bounce is good, and it's been picked up by Tavita Cavubati. It's on the ground, it spins out, and the Wallabies have it.
Things were loosening up nicely for the flying Fijians. More awkward the better.
That's how they like it, and they might have turned this over. No. Coming in from the side in the end.
Yeah, it was a great, I was going to say, a great turnover from Israel Folau. I've been watching him play now for however many years. How many years at Clarkie? 3 or 4?
Yeah, he started in 2013, British and Irish Lions.
That's right. I think that's his first ever turnover in rugby union. Well done, Izzy.
Oh, another first for the great man.
In over the ball. Very Michael Hooper, David Pocock-esque. Great turnover.
He's gone from there, Cave. I know Giteau didn't put the penalty out, but then he's made a coverage. He's gone the 65 metres all the way to the other wing to take that kick. He's become so spatially aware of where he has to be as a fullback, is he, Folau? Give him the ball all the time.
The Wallabies turning down an opportunity to put it in the corner.
That's a bit of a surprise, to tell you the truth. Thought they'd go again. Before half-time, they just want one score that'll put them more than 2 converted tries ahead.
Bernard Foley. And this one sneaks in. 18 points to 3. Australia over Fiji.
Yeah, I think important, Marty, to take those points just before half-time. This kick-off becomes very important. The Wallabies can control the ball for the next minute and a half, go into half-time with a comfortable lead. They'll be relaxed in the sheds.
Volavola. This is some hang time. Genia. Now Hooper on the 22.
Carry back.
Foley. Giteau running onto it. Giving it to Adam Ashley Cooper.
Stay on here.
Genia. The box kick. Volavola is back there sweeping and leaving it behind. And Foley gives it to Simmons backing up on the inside.
Hit and spin.
Tackle only.
Giteau. CO out the back. Folau putting it on the toe. Chasing through was Adam Ashley Cooper, but it beat him into touch.
Izzy Folau grubber kicking. What about Rob Simmons? He could feel the breath of Nadolo, the 124-kilogram winger, about to pummel him. He has hit within contact. Ben Volavola spills the ball. This pass is a beauty from Foley. We go a little bit later. CO thought Israel Folau could have gone harder and given Rob Horne a bit of a run.
9!
Tuapati throwing in and finding the safe hands of Leondi Nakarawa.
Yeah, they just want to soak up the time.
Stay on.
Get off the field for half-time, the Flying Fijians.
Matawalu onto the left foot of Nadolo. Safely into touch. And that is half-time at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. Rugby World Cup 2015, opening game for Australia. Fijians asking questions, but breathing pretty easy at the break. Australia leading by 18 points to 3, a double to Pocock and 2 penalties and a conversion to Bernard Foley. We'll take a break from Cardiff.
Well, a convincing start to this World Cup from the Wallabies here in Cardiff. We've had to wait a long time for them to get underway, and you would imagine that Michael Cheika would be pretty happy with what he saw in that first half.
Oh, that's a big pass, Mark. When we talked about there'd be early rust, no, they were pretty exact in most of the game.
Physical, and they had some physicality coming at them as well, George.
Yeah, they did, but they started the game with real intent, didn't they? They used the full width of the field, got the ball into Israel Folau's hands very, very quickly, and then Fiji bounced back and were very, very physical and contested hard, and they absorbed some pressure from the Wallabies. Then you saw this, didn't we, Marta, from 17 metres, or 22 metres out the 17-minute mark, a really impressive drive.
About 4 minutes of pressure on the Wallabies. They were pretty happy, drive after drive, and when the penalty came, they took another line out. The Wallabies survived it, and with 3 points against them, I think it ended up being a good result. They were relieved, and they finally, after all of this, went back to halfway, only conceding the penalty.
Yeah, it was a good example of just being able to absorb pressure. The games will ebb and flow, and here Fiji right on the 22, they knew they had the advantage. Volavola goes across and puts Israel Folau under some kick pressure, which he's normally diffuses, but the Wallabies would have been really happy to go away just with 3 points against them at that stage.
And from there, the Wallabies quite literally got a roll on.
Yeah, they did, and we've seen this a lot with the Brumbies, haven't we? This six-man insert with the Mr. David Pocock at the back steering and being very, very patient. We heard it in the commentary from Rod Cape. Showed his experience there, didn't he, Marta?
Well, they'd had one go on the other side of the field. They go to that one. Let's not forget, half this pack, 4 members of the starting pack are Brumbies. They've been using this technique for the last 2, maybe 3 seasons. And Pocock's the pilot. They're expert up the front, as in probing the soft underbelly. They feel, then they go, let's go left or right, and Pocock is the one that benefits. But it's a forward pack try, and they're technically almost spot on, and they'll get better with their rolling walls.
They will, and what was also impressive was seeing them use this 2-pass skill. Like, although Fardy carried that ball into contact, he's actually looking to pass causes a bit of pressure, and that causes people to make these sort of mistakes. Kicking the ball at the bottom of the ruck, a yellow card, and that was all from the back of a great Wallaby playing attack.
And you get a penalty from that, and what do you do against a 7-man pack? You go to a rolling maul with David Pocock at the back. Look at them, they all know where to insert themselves. Even Rod Horne had a semi-go, but being a back, he didn't know where to put his head, and Pocock, try time is second before half-time.
Impressive start from the Wallabies as we see another shot of that, the higher shot, and you can see what they've been working on, can't you? They've been sitting there working away, firstly in the USA and then in Bath, and we see the fruits of that labour.
Well, it's the small things which really matter, like winning the ball at the top of the jump, hitting your target, staying together, not breaking out and splintering when you're under pressure, and working together as a unit until you get the end result. That was really impressive. 18-3 at half-time. I think Michael Checker and his coaching staff will be really impressed with the way the Wallabies have gone about their business.
So David Pocock, he's happy, and why wouldn't he be, with a first half double to open the World Cup, and 2 from 2 penalties, the one conversion from Bernard Foley and Namani Nadolo. He just kicked that one penalty, the only scoring shot for Fiji. All right, let's boil it down. We've waited long enough to see it. What have you liked most about the Wallabies in that first half?
I love the scrums. Let's go to set pieces. The scrums, their reception of the kickoff, these are the set pieces, and the line-outs, all rock solid. So, and they'll work at the breakdown. That's always going to be wonderful. Look at David Pocock without a shirt. I like that too.
I'm starting to worry about you, mate. I really am starting to worry about you. What I've liked about it is the variety in attack. You know, they've gone to the driving where we saw the fruits of that, but also the ability to use the full width of the field, giving the people who are dangerous, like Israel Folau in the back three, a chance to use the ball with space. So that's really interesting. What I think that from that, it'll open up around the edge of the ruck for Will Genia's running game, I believe, in the second half. So really well done in that first half.
I was just going to ask you about that second half, because you think about this stage of that opening match, Fiji and England. Fiji playing pretty well to this point, and then it did open up. The same thing going to happen here?
It always will. At the 60th minute mark, they've got to, because this gives the Fijians, half-time gives them a chance to recover, so they'll stretch them for the next 15. After 60, when do you think? Matt Toomua is going to come on. Curtly Beale, Eddie's going to blow it apart, and the Wallabies could win by 40.
All right, lots to look forward to here at Millennium Stadium. If you are a Wallaby fan, back here to Cardiff in just a moment. You're watching Fox Sports. Welcome back to Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, standing by for the second half between Australia and Fiji. You know you're in Cardiff when they have Tom Jones blaring out in the background with It's Not Unusual. Surely Bassie can't be too far away. David Pocock, obviously a star of that first half, but it wasn't only in attack. Some of the defensive plays that he was forced to put on and did make.
Yeah, he actually, which we mightn't see some of the imagery, but there's a really important tackle he made when there was a turnover ball. He worked hard, it was about a 3-on-2, and he held his poise, and made a really, really important tackle, which led to a turnover, I think, by potentially Matt Giteau. So he's worked really hard in that 40 minutes, along with a number of other players too.
And we're saying, oh, he's not a traditional number 8. That run he made from the line-out when he dropped back to first receiver and just hammered the inside centre for the Fijians. But his combination with Hooper and Fardy has been wonderful. And then you got the fourth open side flanker, Israel Folau, leaning over that breakdown and taking a decisive turnover.
As the players head back on to Millennium Stadium, I remember Sterling Mortlock, when he finished his career, he said that was the biggest change throughout his career, was the fact that every player was required to make those steals at the breakdown. It's not just the sevens job, everybody needs to do it.
The tackle contest is huge in the modern game, and everyone who's on that field from 1 to 15 has to make those right decisions. And if you got 15 on your back in the day, you wouldn't have even gone in near that dark place. But now if there's an opening, you'll get a grilling on Monday if you don't take that opportunity. So it's good to see Izzy get his first of many turnovers.
Let's hope for more throughout this tournament for Israel Folau. This could get good. It could get very, very good for the Wallabies and their supporters here in the second half as we take you back to Greg Clark.
Fiji out there and Michael Checker. You think he'd be pretty happy with that scoreline at half-time, 18 points to 3. The Wallabies have a 6-game winning streak at Millennium Stadium. Their last loss here was to Wales back in 2008. 2 tries in the first half to David Pocock. Kane Douglas is ready. Second half underway. And Foley giving it a bit of hang time as the chasers close in on Volavola. Onto the left foot of Nadolo. Throwing it in quickly. There's Folau, who has a run. Turnover was good though. But it comes back on the Wallaby side, and now David Pocock is taken by his opposite number, Telai. Cleaned up by Foley. Away from one. Tuapati holds on. Giteau. Stephen Moore. It pops out the side, and a chance here for a breakout from Fiji. Lovobalavu couldn't find a way through. And Kuridrani, a good steal. Penalty goes to the Wallabies. Holding on is the call.
Yeah, good turnover from Kuridrani. Right in on the action. George Gregan said it at half-time. It's everybody's job to get in on the ball. And he did a pretty good job then. Wallabies will be looking for the odd opportunity back on the inside shoulder. There's all of their attack so far this evening's gone to the outside. We haven't seen an inside ball yet. Don't be surprised if they start thinking about mixing it up a little bit. Israel Folau, as he often does, looks to excite a quick line out to himself.
Genia, flat pass to Foley, who's stepping. Can't find a way through. Genia again to Giteau, and now Folau puts on the footwork. Israel Folau looking to offload, goes to ground. Quick recycle. Simmons taken by Nakarawa. 5 metres out, Australia. Kepu having a run. So go big Kepu! What a start to the second half. And the big front rower is in.
Oh, and again, he's made that one of his trademarks, the long striding try. A couple of significant factors in the build-up. The short line out, didn't even jump Michael Hooper. Bernard Foley finally taking advantage of all his work in attack by dummying and going forward. I think we'll see it. No, this is the tail bit. Israel Folau through 2 defenders, keeps going, allows the attack to get there and get ready. And look at Kepu, take the ball to the line, throws a little dummy and slices through 3. Incredible try, Kate.
Really good. It came off the back of that quick ruck ball. Just really good, dominant running from the Wallabies. Everyone got across the gain line. As soon as you generate quick ball, those holes just open up. And even for a guy like Kepu, scored a great try first against the All Blacks a month or so ago, and then gets another tonight. Well done.
We had a hunch it might open up. We were thinking more like the 60, 65th minute mark. When the Wallabies play in this confident vein, it's good signs.
And it's Foley taking plenty of time. No problem from there. So a very handy scoreline. Australia 25, Fiji 3.
What about that? That's a dummy. His runner that he dummied to got taken out simply because the dummy was that good. When is a tight head prop going to dummy? Well, when it's this man, he's got good speed off the mark.
Taken by Simmons, and he's claimed immediately by the replacement winger, Asaeli Tikoratuma.
Hasn't even had to leave the ground to take those kickoffs.
Now it's Douglas. Genia back to Foley. Over line out, about 30 out from the Wallabies line. What have you made of the 9-10 combination? Will Genia and Bernard Foley for the first time.
It's going to get better. Will Genia from the word go started running. That's when he's dangerous, because that's when he grabs defenders, which makes Bernard Foley's job better. As we said, he went the foul first half, just showing the ball, going at the defence, showing the ball. I think it's been really sharp. Sharper than what I thought it was going to be.
Well, that might be one against the throw, a rare loss at line-out time for the Fijians at Rugby World Cup.
Foley runs again.
And this time, sealing off. Penalty Fiji.
What have you made of him? What have you made of him, Keith? Genia Foley.
Will Genia's best test in a long, long time so far tonight. Got the benefit of coming off some pretty good front foot ball. His passing has been excellent. Best I've seen it for so long. He looks to me fitter than I've seen him in a long time. Leaner, hungrier. He wants to make a stamp on this World Cup. Bernard Foley there. See both the Australian support players leaving their feet. Justifiable penalty against them. And that's the benefit of good Fiji defence. Fiji rushing up a little bit on the outside. I'd like to see, I know that was turnover line-out ball. I'd like to see the Wallabies employ the odd inside ball. I think there's a little bit of space back on the inside. Everything's been on the outside. Just duck one back on the inside. I think they'll find a hole or two.
Yeah, you get the feeling the Fijian defenders will start to drop off. It's only Genia's second starting test in the last 2 years, and it's his first, isn't it? His first start with Foley ever. The combination's looking good.
Nadolo. And the strike is a good one from the big man. Yep, he's happy. Well, we've got an opportunity. We'll say happy birthday to his cousin, former Wallaby Lottie Takiri, or as he's known in his homeland, Thangeri. Happy birthday, Lottie. Over it goes. And so it's 25 points to 6.
A rare kick-off by Bernard Foley.
And Fiji have it just inside their 22. Talai took the restart. Back to Volavola. Straight into touch on the far side of Millennium Stadium.
He hasn't had many opportunities in attack in the last 20 minutes of that first half, or even this half. It's a tough show when you're playing a fairly tight Australian side.
Good take from Douglas, and pressure was on Genia. It's going to come back eventually. And Sio has a run. His dad, David, played for Manu Samoa in the Rugby World Cup in 1991. What a proud moment for the Sio family to see Junior out there. Now it's Hooper with a good carry. Genia to Foley. Folau. Nadolo fell off him. Good recycle. Fardy. Oh, big tackle from the Natani Talai. And the penalty will go to Fiji.
Kempizi Mafu on his feet over the ball, and that all comes from the hefty contact originally. Stopped Fardy in his tracks, couldn't poke his head through the other side of the defence. Ooh, that was a biggie.
Yeah, Mafu, who made his debut against Australia in 2010, and he was opposing his brother Salisi Mafu. Played about 14 tests for the Wallabies. Volavola finding touch. Well, they love an underdog at the Rugby World Cup 2015, and so there's plenty of vocal support for Fiji in Cardiff at the moment.
Oh, that's all Kempizi Mafu's in jersey 1. Look at that. Look at that hit there with the right. There's plenty of arm in there, don't worry. Releases, look, clear release, and then swoops onto the ball, and we've got to change at halfback, Clarkey. Their best player, Matawalu off.
Well, there was a steal there at the line-out for the Wallabies, and then they coughed it up, and now the captain, get up. Kanatali out there. New scrum half for Fiji. Yato. Volavola. Lovobalavu throws a shocker right over the head of Nadolo.
Well, Kaif, when you've got one of the best players in Super Rugby and Nadolo on the wing, don't give him rubbish, just get it to him.
Early pass is what he's looking for. Oh. He's a big man, but not big enough. Now there's an opportunity here for the Wallabies to just try to come back, bounce back with a little bit of rhythm into their game. Looking for perhaps Tavita Kuridrani on the run here. You see him there to the left of your screen.
Good line-out win by Simmons and Pocock. Time for a rumble. Being told to use it, and there's the box kick now from Genia. Nadolo coming forward, and they managed to hold on to one leg.
Well done, Bernard Foley.
Now they look to go wide. And here's the replacement, Keratali. Inside ball, Goneva. Oh, he just couldn't free the hands to the support. Having a run now is Saulo. And the ball ripped away. Nobody at the back, so they have to retreat. Talebula back inside his own 22. Volavola has a better angle.
So close to a charge down. Well, I tell you what, the best thing I've seen tonight, a lot of people would have missed it. When the ball went wide there, the combination between Kuridrani and whoever was
the Fijians obviously up against it in terms of the scoreline, and also the injury crisis is getting worse. Matawalu, who picked up an injury,
pulled that off, and in the end they got the turnover.
Scott Seo down in back play at the moment. Potentially just cramps, holding his hamstring moments ago.
You wouldn't take any risk, would you, Kaif? If there's any difficulty, get him off, get him right. Right.
He's appeared in all 6 tests so far in 2015. Scott Seo, still a long way to go in his career. He's just 23 years of age. Again, good line-out win by Simmons. Crowd figure just announced, 67,253.
Not bad for a Wednesday afternoon in Cardiff.
And a good solid take.
Stephen, get out.
Toomua.
Well, they've got to have a run.
Talebula, wide it goes to Nadolo, and he got away from his cousin, but then Tavita Kuridrani came back and took away his legs. Lovobalavu goes to ground, short of halfway. Oh, big hit coming in from Michael Hooper, and then he charges over the ball, trying to disrupt it at the breakdown, but it's there for Fiji.
Oh, he holds it a very dangerous attack there, Hooper.
Nakarawa, he likes to run, and he gets that big mitt going, and it's just not sticking for Fiji. Holds it in the big hand. Nakarawa.
He's so good at it.
And Giteau disappointed with the outcome.
What about Hooper? Have a look at the Fijians at the top of your screen. There's only 2 other defenders from the Australians, 5 on 2. Hooper shut that down. It comes again through Volavola. Mafu, it was, cop a bit of that action. And then watch, he pops up, reloads, and goes through them all to cause chaos.
Good win from Cavubati. Get up. Again driven back, and a good tackle. Volavola on halfway. Hooper goes looking. Advantage there because the ruck had formed.
It wasn't Hooper, it was Rob Horne getting in the way. Stephen Moore says what? Rod Kafer, I'm loving some of this defence. It has got some backbone to it.
Fantastic defender, David Pocock, as is Michael Hooper. Not much gets through that channel. There's going to be some changes now. Wallaby front rows, we'll see both props come off. James Slipper and Greg Holmes will come on in a moment.
Speaking of defence, as we have a look at the replacements ready to come on, the Wallabies.
It's not going to go
out. Mistake by Fiji, but the Wallabies have conceded 39 tries at 7 previous Rugby World Cups, so that's the best defensive stat out of any team. Defence wins World Cups, we know that. And running it back was Talebula. Nakarawa, over the top it goes, and inside to Nadolo from Yato, but there was a foot on the chalk, so it comes to nothing. We'll have a line out. Wallaby throw.
Yeah, they're not light footing it too well down the sideline. 3 occasions they've miscalculated where their feet are. That was Yato. Replacements coming on. Sio and Kepu off.
So Greg Holmes and Slipper coming out. That's James Slipper. And he will play his 69th test. Greg Holmes played in the 2007 Rugby World Cup. Wasn't cited for a few years, missed out on 2011, and he's making every opportunity, or taking every opportunity in 2015. Ooh.
She looked a lot more convincing in real time.
Oh, one against the throat. And Genia, Volavola, Talai on halfway. Terrific tackle again. And do they turn it over? No, they don't.
Your feet, stay up.
It wasn't Hooper who marched through the breakdown. It was Pocock who was lying on the ground, having a chat as they wandered back, Pocock and Hooper. The Poopers. What a combination in the back row they are.
Well, you'd think it's now or never for Fiji as the Mexican wave goes around Rugby World Cup 2015 in Cardiff. They got within 7 of England in the second half in the tournament opener at Twickenham, but couldn't go on with it. But a terrific opportunity here now for Fiji just to ask some more questions of the Wallabies. Genia. Tuapati. Kanatali, the new scrum half, is asking his forwards to have a run. Now Volavola, and Talebula can't control it. So Slipper gives it to Genia, who sends it down. Running back and claiming it. Talebula. Toomua, the double round. Nakarawa. He loves to have a run, but gee, that was a great tackle. Rob Horne.
Leave now, Rost.
Toomua trying to get it wide, and Volavola now throws the dummy. He saw Stephen Moore, gives it across now to Gabby. Lovobalavu. Good defence again at the back from the Wallabies.
Kuridrani made a late driving tackle there.
Saulo.
Crowd's willing the Fijians on.
Garatali picks up his captain in midfield. Oh, and Toomua. It's okay. Play on.
Hoop was there.
And he was playing advantage anyway. And now, is he going to go to the pocket here? He'll certainly have a word to Stephen Moore.
He was the one who got...
This is no more. Any more at the tackle, it's going to the bin. Number 18, not rolling clear.
All right, so he's saying Greg Holmes recently on the field. It was Stephen Moore who got beaten on the outside, which created the big opportunity. But he got beaten by the 5'8", Ben Volavola, not too bad. Greg Holmes just on. Team under a yellow card threat. Fijians haven't had an attacking opportunity in the 22 since that 4-minute period in the first half where they took their penalty away.
Well, they're going to put it in the corner.
Until they come down.
25-6. Australia over Fiji.
Right, it's the Fijian form of the rolling maul.
Good, safe take. Telai looking to give the Wallabies a bit of their own medicine. Telai still has it. Plenty of bodies on the ground there.
The worry will be if the Wallabies pull it down. They're going.
Nadolo, two-man tackle, and Hooper comes over the top, but it's a quick clearance, and through the hands they go. Talebula, terrific ball and all tackle from Israel Folau, and they try and turn it over. I think they have the Wallabies. No, it's going to come back for Fiji. Volavola, dummying, Ben Volavola! He's over! China, Fiji, Ben Volavola!
That's the stuff we in Australia know about Ben Volavola from Sydney Club Football. 8 Waratahs matches. He loves the dummy and go. And it was set up for him. The Wallabies were stretched. They'd worked so hard on the far side at that breakdown. They'd worked hard on the left-hand side as well, or left-hand attacking side for the Fijians, defending all that. So it was over there. Have a look. There's 7 Wallabies involved there. Volavola. Dummies. The late dive by Rob Simmons doesn't help. The hit by Giteau just not good enough.
Wallabies thought they'd turned that ball over. Genia had his hands on it, got ripped out of his hands. Fiji get away with it. Volavola at the line between the 2 Wallaby locks scores the try.
His first in his Test career, and the Nadolo adds the extra 2 from in front. So all of a sudden, Fiji breathe a bit of new life into their campaign against the Wallabies.
Well, the second half has been a revelation. It was that first little shimmy. Rob Simmons went sideways rather than moving up. It was Foley at the last line. It was too late by then because he was moving laterally. Volavola, very tall, 6'4", just kept going forward. Nothing else has worked. Finally, they found a way.
25 points to 13, halfway through the second half. Can they keep it going for the full 80 this time, Fiji? And Gata. Ganatali. Back to the try scorer, Volavola. Sets up for Adam Ashley Cooper. At his 3rd Rugby World Cup, and he dummies. And Nadolo wraps him up. Douglas. Oh, it's a big tackle from Campisi Ma'afu. Now it's Slipper. Fiji charging in there and knocked back and picking it up now. Might have been Giteau.
Some lazy traits coming into the Wallaby game. A little bit too deep in attack.
Now Pocock wanting to put it right. And a good run from Horne. Advantage being played for Australia. Now it's Pocock taken by his opposite, and a quick ball for Genia to give it to Slipper. Goes to ground on the 22. Foley held it up, hoping they'd open the gap for him. Nothing happening there, so we'll come back for a penalty. Remember, there are bonus points in play for teams at the Rugby World Cup, so Australia still needing a try to pick up that all-important 4-try bonus point.
Rob Horne did well there. It is. You plant one on somebody's arm, there's no use to the crowd booing. You plant someone on an arm on someone's chin, it's definitely a penalty. No riding up there. First contact was right on the point of his chin.
One of the things we've seen from some of the early playing Rugby World Cup is the ability of the forward pack to pass the ball and shift the ball. We've seen it in the Japanese team. We've seen it with the All Blacks as well. Wallabies a little bit one out with their forward runners. Every time they take a pass from a halfback, they tend to just take it into contact. Fiji are lining them up and smacking them. A little pass either side may serve them better, just off the edges as they try to restructure their attack. Bernard Foley, of course, now goes to the corner. The Wallabies get an opportunity to use their driving maul to get that bonus point try.
My memory serves me correctly. You may have mentioned it. David Pocock has already scored 2. Gosh,
one against the throw. And the crowd cheering for the underdog again.
Maybe they're getting a bit sloppy with some of their attitude. John McKee, their coach, he's certainly revved them up since half-time. Only they know whose fault that is. It seemed to be the lifters got very slowly with Scott Fardy.
I think Stephen Moore will be delighted you said it was the lifters, Marto. It was a very short throw from the captain.
Rob Simmons no longer out there, and Dean Mumm in 20 had his hands on the ball and then lost it. So mistakes at the line-out for the Wallabies, and they make a few changes. You sort of expect a few problems until they settle into the game.
Well, just make mention of that. Rob Simmons, reflect on how well he played around the field. He was wonderful. The line-out was superb. So he should be happy with his performance. He as well as the whole team has looked so fit. He's transformed himself in the last 6 weeks. Really athletic, springy around the field. Rob Simmons off the field now.
Stolen again, so 3 very poor lineouts by the Wallabies all in a row, and now all of a sudden it's Fiji with a spring in their step. Ngeta, Natali, Talebula, Volavola, Decoy Tuomua, just inside Wallaby territory. Natali, Talebula, Simmons, no it's not, it's Fardy who makes the tackle.
Good refereeing, Glenn Jackson.
Just a little static over on the right, Fiji, but the quick recycle was good, and the ball over the top to Yato was very good.
James Slipper head knock.
He is out cold.
Yeah, touch judge is on, wants him to stop play.
And the penalty goes against Fiji. So concern being shown for James Slipper.
What about Nakarawa? That's not the first, not the second. It's about the 4th time. Into tackle, into contact. 2 defenders, gets that arm free.
Yeah, cleared up.
Slipper tried to take
it's just a clash of heads.
Player. Clash of heads, nothing illegal. Have a look at him. Within contact, 2 defenders, slip that. It's hard to defend that. Is this where James Slipper makes the tackle? Oh, that sure is. Anyone who knows James Slipper knows how tough he is. There's nothing you can do about that. Just reels away from a head contact.
There's 2 things, okay? The first one is over there, pulling the tackle. You can't try and trick me into everybody. Secondly, we can't laugh at someone's injured, please.
It's been Dean Mumm who's been calling these lineouts the last 3 in a row. That's just a poor loss from Dean Mumm. Here there's a bit of panic from the Wallabies. They've lost their main caller, Rob Simmons. The lineouts disintegrated 3 in a row. They're not going to be happy with that performance. There's some changes occurring now. Genia's left the field. Nick Phipps is on. Stephen Moore's now left the field. Polota-Nau out on there as well. It's likely we'll see Scott Sio go back on. James Slipper will definitely be leaving the field with a concussion test. With no great need to test that one, I can tell you he was out cold.
I don't know if you can hear at home, but Glenn Jackson in the break, Slipper's up. He's not well, he's obviously going to go and have a concussion test. Glenn Jackson just warning the Fijians, you can't trick me. They were holding defenders in, making it look as though they were lying all over thing, and also he warned them about laughing about James Slipper being injured. I'm sure that's not intentional, it's probably something else.
James Slipper have the concussion test and just have to sit out a couple of weeks at Rugby World Cup 2015 because they won't take any risks at all. So, back inside Fiji territory.
They need to show something, the Wallabies. The game has really started flowing against them in the last 10 minutes. The Fijians have scored a try. Wallabies losing ball, set piece. It's back on now.
So they win the line-up. Phipps, Foley, Folau, and he sparks something out wide. They wrap him up. Tuomua, good tackle. Now Douglas charging into them. Inside ball, and they cough it up. Not sure if Polota-Nau was expecting it, but all of a sudden...
advantage was over, and Tuumua's knocked it forward as well. Crowd didn't see it, so they're roaring. Oh, they want him to go back to the original knock-on.
Two passes.
Right, so there's a knock-on. And K5, for better or worse, Glenn Jackson's gone, well, you had two passes. It looked like you were on attack. Advantage was over, and then that.
Yep, up to the referee to determine when the advantage is over.
This is only the fifth scrum of the night. Fiji have only fed one scrum.
Support the Wallabies keep attacking. This bonus point in this pool is going to be critical.
Yep.
Being told to use it now. Penalty goes to Australia. They were told to use it, but then Fiji couldn't hold on.
That's why I stopped before the ball's up.
So this World Cup, you get a bonus point for 4 tries. England played Fiji. They're also in the same pool as Australia. They played Fiji last Friday night. Got their 4th try. Whoa! Yeah, you want to get beyond 2 converted tries. Got their 4th try bonus point after full time. So the Wallabies have to match that, Cave.
Marto, big tactical decision from Michael Hooper, who's in his captain. 12 minutes left on the clock. Their driving line-out had been very good early on. I know they've had changes and they're worried about their line-out. Wants to take points. Points aren't the answer at the moment. I understand how close it is. Would have liked to have seen them go into the corner. However,
he needs to secure the victory first.
Yeah, no, that's what he's thinking about.
And I want to keep on seeing Bernard Foley tested in game situation, because goal kicking is going to be hell of an important later in the cup.
Medical team have just told me that James Slipper won't be back out there.
Beautiful strike. So that might dampen the Fiji enthusiasm for a while. 28 points to 13, Australia over Fiji. Now, can they score the 4th try and get the bonus point?
Four lineouts lost. The Wallabies. That's the worst stat of the night.
It's also a milestone for Bernard Foley, 200 test points now. Congratulations to him. Taken by Rob Horne. He's claimed immediately by Tico Ratuma. Phipps, Holmes, Foley, the back Giteau. Onto the left foot. Into touch, up around the halfway mark. No, not quite. The 10-metre mark. 19 coming on. Will Skelton. 13th test appearance, so he's on there for Kane Douglas. 23 years of age. And a couple of big seasons from the big man. Line-out win for Fiji. We'll just have to be careful here because they can hurt you from anywhere. Talebula, not a good pass in Volavola. Couldn't really do a lot with that.
At 10 metres behind the advantage line where the last breakdown occurred. Must kick.
And now it's Volavola.
And it's into touch and touched. The Fijian line-out, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely a Fiji line-out.
I can see what Nick Phipps was trying to do. Take the mark and diffuse the whole situation.
Did he get a hand to it?
Oh, yes, he got a hand to it, all right.
Oh, yeah. Wow. A left fingers.
Beale also on the field now for Matt Giteau. As is obviously Will Skelton out there. They've emptied the bench. Matt Toomua, the last one remaining.
Beale. Second Rugby World Cup for him. Scored 2 tries against Fiji at a previous World Cup.
Good rolling ball.
Here come Fiji. As the crowd roars and gets behind them. They release it now. Oh, Nadolo. Cousin on cousin. Arm goes out. It's a penalty, and this will be a yellow card because they've been warned about giving away penalties at the breakdown. So Tavita Kuridrani in the bin, Australia down to 14.
Oh, that's tough. They grew up playing footy against each other. It used to start as touch, finished as tackle. Cousins on the beach in Fiji. Because one of their other cousins, Lotte Takiri, also Chris Kuridrani, who plays for the Reds in Super Rugby. Uncles Noah Nadruka, who used to play for the Canberra Raiders, wonderful winger.
It's a mean game of touch, Marto, on the beach, I can tell you.
Can't you see him doing a bit of that action? Have a look at that. So I've hammered your cousin. There'd be some words going on right there. But he didn't release after he made the tackle. You get a bit excited. And you go, I've knuckled you. You're my older cousin. I've knuckled you. Now I'm going to take the ball off you. But you've got to release the player. Doesn't matter if you are related to him.
Yeah, it's a big call. Tough now for the Wallabies. That 4-try bonus point, so important. Michael Hooper's going to drop off the scrum and defend in the back line. He'll defend as the first man on the right. Now thinking about going back to the scrum.
Incredible, really, because the Wallabies led 18-3 at halftime, scored an early try in the second half, up 25-3. So it's now 28-13.
Watch for Namani Nadolo out on that left wing. Got a numbers advantage there, Fiji.
They're going to have a reset.
They look like they want to go to the blind side, the Fijians. Only their second scrum feed of the evening, which that came from a penalty. It indicates the Wallabies haven't made too many handling errors, and that's not necessarily true. 8. Big second half by the Fijians.
Well, they've been excellent. They've really stuck to their task. The Wallabies scored early after half-time, then lost their rhythm in the game. Didn't keep attacking. Didn't look for that. I was looking for that inside ball all second half. Not once did I see it thrown, and it played into Fiji's hands. All the attack's been on the outside, nothing back on that inside channel. Genia didn't run, and now the Wallabies are under pressure.
Free kick taken. Anatali. And now Nakarawa. 5 metres out. Tuapati. Skelton went over the top and closed him down. They work it to the short side through Songeta. Nakarawa again. Oh, beautiful offload. Genia taken by Phipps. Kanatali over the top, a floating pass, but they had to go back for it. And Goneva is taken about 10 metres out. Volavola.
Saulo. Oh, Skelton has hammered him. They've got plenty of options on the right.
And that's where they go through Nakarawa. Yaro again. Still there for Fiji. Volavola out the back. Decoy Rituma. Talebula. Goneva. Less than 4 minutes remaining. Wallabies need to get their hands on the ball and get down to the other end and search for this fourth try, but it's all Fiji at the moment. Tuapati. Phipps went low. Good tackle. Volavola. Toomua. Long ball. Talebula. Terrific tackle though.
Communication on the outside channels of the Wallabies, great.
Volavola again. Oh, there's a short one. Was that forward? No, it's play on.
Ooh, close.
Still there for Fiji. Volavola takes them on again. Got it back to Saulo. Hooper goes in, makes the tackle. He's cleaned out, and it's there. A good pick up for Nakarawa. Over the top, Tuapati flirting with the touch line. He's into touch. They went forward as well, so the Wallabies survive.
Whoa, they threw something at them with, what, 10, 12 phases. Just kept on coming. A bit of seven-a-side rugby. Yeah, their fans are going, well, that was our last chance maybe to win the game. They were hoping a bit too much there.
The Wallabies look to be out on their feet because they've had to do some defending in this last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a situation where everyone thought that Fiji might run out of gas. Like what happened at Twickenham on Thursday night, but it hasn't happened at Millennium Stadium. A 5-day turnaround, and they have given everything, Fiji.
Have a look at those stats. 10 offloads by the Fijians. Only the one they're claiming by the Australians. I reckon there was a few more than that, but plenty of missed tackles.
Man of the match has been announced, and it is Wallaby number 8, David Pocock.
What can't he do? Maybe kick. That is.
Couple of tough minutes now for the Wallabies. They need to go the full length of the field and score this bonus point try. We saw England in the tournament opener do the same thing in the 81st minute mark against Fiji. Now it's the Wallabies' turn.
Well,
so important.
There's a chance, isn't there, Kate? Because the Fijians have just thrown everything bar the kitchen sink. That was their last go at trying to get close to them, maybe get a bonus point and finish within 7. They're done attacking-wise, so you wonder whether they might let themselves down in defence. I know they can try to talk, but the Wallabies are the ones who are motivated to score.
Not often do you hear Swing Low, Sweet Chariot at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. For some reason, they're singing it. So it might be to rev up the underdog, I think.
The Welsh won't be liking that, that's for sure. The signature tune of English rugby fans.
Left.
New front rower on for Fiji. Number 18, Foley. Once again, looks like the Fijians are going to be denied a bonus point for finishing within 7. But they've been very courageous in their opening games against England and Australia. Australia need to get this ball in and get to the other end. Then they go coast to coast and pick up a bonus point. After it was looking like a certainty just after half-time when they led 25-3. Man of the match just been announced over the PA system at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. David Pocock. Congratulations to him. Next up for the Wallabies, they've got Uruguay in Birmingham on Sunday. Everyone not involved in tonight's match will play, we're told. So Phipps, there's the penalty. Penalty to the Wallabies. So do they put it into touch and back their line-up?
Got it, Clarkie. They've got to kick long. Matt Toomua stepping up to hit it long. We want to get to halfway. And then potentially play off the top. He does, strikes the ball nicely. Out to about 40. Wallabies all the work to do now.
Well, Beale and Folau, we saw them against Argentina conjure a late bonus point try.
Michael Hooper. In inside ball. Finally, Horne. Phipps. Toomua, fresh legs. Now it's Holmes up to halfway. Skelton. They've got a long way to go yet, the Wallabies. Phipps. Toomua, Folau inside to Beale, who breaks free but lost his footing. Now it's Mumm. Clean out needs to be effective. Good ball and all tackle there by Fiji.
The timing was good on 8th phase.
And Phipps. Oh, and there's the mistake. The roar goes up for the underdog. And now Nadolo. Tuapati. They might have another crack over on the far side. They do. But that's Lovobalavu. Into touch it goes. And that is full time at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. So the Wallabies, they get the victory, but not the 4-try bonus point victory that they were after. Plenty of positives, but also plenty to work on as they look ahead to the next match against Uruguay. Man of the match, David Pocock, 2 tries in the first half. Kepu scored the try in the second half to take them to that scoreline of 25-3. And in the end, it was Australia downing Fiji by 28 points to 13. 3 tries to 1. And another gutsy performance by the Fijians. Just couldn't get close enough to Australia throughout, but they didn't stop trying. Israel Folau, some nice touches. And the English, who scored the 4th try to get the bonus point victory over Fiji on the opening night, will be pretty happy with that result. Still a long way to go, of course. Nadolo just didn't get into the game enough. Kepu Mahafu all smiles. Next up for Fiji, they play Wales, and that is Thursday next week. We should be hearing from both the captains. So David Pocock, all smiles after the double. Let's hear from the losing captain.
Akapusi, you've come up just short, but you've pushed one of the big tournament all the way. You must be pleased with how you fought in that second half.
First and foremost, I just want to thank the Lord Almighty for giving us the strength to go again after the short turnaround. And heads up to Australia for giving us a tough go. But at the end of the day, they come out victorious. And tough up for the boys. We've got another game next following week, and we're looking forward to that.
The turnaround was very tight, as you mentioned. Was that a factor for the boys in the end?
We just need to be professional about things. We just come short this afternoon, and that's the fact.
You've met England and Australia now. How would you compare the strengths of the 2 big guns in this group?
We will go back this afternoon. We'll look at our mistakes. We'll carry the positives through to the Wales game.
Got to get ready for Wales. That's the next big game here next week.
Looking forward to that.
Thank you very much, Akapusi. Thank you. Well done.
Man, a few words. Akapusi Ngeta, if he plays against Wales, it'll be his 50th Test match. What a wonderful milestone for him. He's been an inspirational captain. And a moment of prayer now for some of the players. Well, Stephen Moore played his 97th Test match for Australia. Let's see what the winning captain has to say.
Stephen, you had to wait to get involved in this tournament, but you're up and running now. How do you assess the performance?
Yeah, look, happy with the win. I thought Fiji were terrific. They're a much improved side. I don't think we've played them for a number of years, and certainly improved a lot in that period. So full credit to them. Happy with our boys' performance. It was a good effort. We haven't played for a few weeks, so we'll plenty to work on for our next test.
Any frustration that you didn't manage to pick up the bonus point with the extra try?
Not really, no. I think we haven't spoken about that. Czech hasn't spoken once about that. Test footy is about winning. We just got to keep doing that.
Obviously, there are no easy games in this tournament. We've seen that already this weekend. Were you surprised by the Fijians in any capacity?
Not really, no. I guess we've seen a little bit of them being down our way a little bit, so I knew they were a good side. They're well prepared, well coached, and they're a credit to their country.
And some changes, I guess, for your next game against Uruguay on Sunday?
I'm not sure. Czech will name the team probably in the next couple of days.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Well played. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
So Stephen Moore saying they haven't spoken about the 4 try bonus points. The victory must come first of all, and they have achieved that in their Rugby World Cup opener. 28 points to 13, Australia over Fiji. We'll take a break from Cardiff and then we will come back and have our post-match wrap.
Wallaby coach Michael Checker perhaps breathing a little sigh of relief with man of the match there, David Pocock. He would have been pleased with what he saw in the first half and early in that second half, but perhaps Greg Martin, not so much towards the back end of the match, and they couldn't break away like we expected that they might.
Well, they scored that wonderful try by Kepu, just 5 minutes into the second half, and you thought, hang on a minute, we're going to continue on what they did in the first half. Didn't clear about the 52nd minute mark, and they had to absorb a lot of pressure for 10 minutes. That led to a Fiji try, and that was it. Turned over a few lineouts, didn't they, Marto? Just couldn't get their rhythm, and that's probably, a pat on the back to Fiji as well, but just those small things weren't in their game.
Yeah, the game got away from them, and there were 3 lineouts in a row soon after Rob Simmons went off, so maybe they hadn't done enough with the reserve action coming on, so when he left the field, 3 lineouts, and the game got away from them, probably for 15 minutes or so, and the Fijians took faith and got psychological belief and took off. They actually won the second half.
Indeed, and probably didn't quite get what they have been able to get off the bench in recent Test matches, the Wallabies this evening. Let's take it all the way back to the start of the evening and see how this match unfolded. And we'd waited so long for the Wallabies to get underway at this World Cup, and well, there was a lot to like about that first 40 minutes.
And there was a familiar sight here to any Brumbies fans, and David Pocock piloting with the ball there up behind Stephen Moore. 4 Brumbies in the run-on forward pack, so they knew which way they were going. They've obviously been working quite hard on this, and it's such an efficient method of scoring.
Oh, it is, and the first part of that is you actually got to win the ball in the line-out, set up the great structure up the front, which they've done really, really well. And then it was deja vu, wasn't it, in the 30-minute mark? They backed themselves here to go into the corner, keep together, stay together, and get over the line. Yeah, David Pocock's a reward for a great effort up front.
The binds are so tight at the front, and they're so exact. Like, a lot of teams will spread too wide with their arrowhead at the front. The Wallabies just too wide and keep marching. It's the little feet that are the key to getting that momentum so strongly going forward.
Well, they keep it long, and that makes it very difficult for the opposing team to get at the ball, and that's why you see him shifting back, players getting in front of the ball, and it's very, very hard to defend. And then we just saw this build-up in the beginning. You talk about scoring first and starting well in the second half. It was a great start here, building a pressure. And what about Kepu? He's got some footwork like a midfielder. Takes someone on the overs and then gets down the field really quickly. He's very fast and sharp, isn't he, Marto?
So often it's that second wave play that Kepu can initiate. It goes behind the dummy runner, which is Stephen Moore, so the defence held off. And then to have that sort of pace for a tight end prop's incredible. Ben Volavola, I think I spoke during the commentary, plays for Southern Districts, and I've seen tries like this so often where he's just done the dummy, taken off, left foot step, well, the right foot step beat Rob Simmons, then he went left and bamboozled them. That's when they had a lot of possession. They had a runner play, went 15 minutes, and that was the result.
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum shifts, isn't there, in games? You saw that.
There is that man of the match, David Pocock. So a couple of tries to him and Kepu early in the second half. Foley had a pretty good night with the boot as well. Ben Volavola and you suspect that the Crusaders might have got themselves a good one there after taking him away from Australia to Christchurch, and Namani Nadolo as well had a reasonably good night with the boots. We're going to hear from Michael Checker in just a moment. Is there an element of disappointment that they weren't able to get that bonus point try, given how close Pool A, this pool of death, might end up being?
I've got no doubt. I'll be interested to see what Check says, but you had to get whatever you could. Had to get as many points as possible, and the bonus points, especially considering England had already got it. That's a huge disappointment. They would have thought they'd secured that with well and truly. There was a decision, Michael Hooper, when he became captain, they made to take a penalty goal to put us 14 ahead. It may be rue that one because we were going so well, but I think he was scared of our line out.
Yeah, I think if you're a good team, like I back that call. Everyone's you still had 11 minutes to actually go down there, back yourself to score. You should be able to do that if you're a good team. And they just made some fundamental errors which weren't there in the first half. And I'm probably a little bit old school. I think you win a test match first. A bonus point is that. It's a bonus if you're good enough to execute. And they just made a few fundamental errors in that second half, which they will tidy up. And if you keep winning games, a bonus point won't really matter in this pool. You just got to keep winning, and that's really important.
So the headline will be great first half, ordinary second half.
All right, well, let's find out what the Wallaby coach Michael Checker felt about that first up performance from his Wallabies.
Well, Michael, you're up and running with a proper workout and a win. You must be delighted with the result.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game, you know. It was a really good workout for us. It was physical. We covered a lot of metres. I think you could see at a certain stage during the second half was our first game for a while, so guys were blowing a bit, but exactly what we needed. I was really pleased with some of the things in the performance.
Any frustrations that you didn't pick up the bonus point for the fourth try in the end then?
Oh, no. Well, we haven't thought about bonus. It's not Super Rugby. This is the World Cup, you know. One game at a time, just win each game. I haven't thought about it, to be honest. In fact, I think I had to ask the question if they were in it at the start because I didn't know about the Northern Hemisphere if they had them like for the Six Nations. So I think just what you got to do is just play well every game. That's one game. Yes, improvements to make, but we'll move on to the next one now and focus on that.
Tight turnaround before you have Uruguay. You'll make some changes, I guess?
Yeah, I'll turn the whole team around, you know, and I'll see how our slipper goes after that concussion piece. But we've got Toby Smith as well, so on principle we'll be turning the whole team around from starter.
Many thanks, Michael. Well played.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Michael Checker there, you guessed that he might be pretty good at the game of poker as well, saying that he didn't know about that bonus point until recently.
Please. Did you see the English number 8 last week, though, the replacement, Billy Vunipola, who scored the last bonus point try? He said, I don't even know. Oh, rubbish.
They are forwards.
Yeah,
Come on,
right.
Like, I'm not being nasty to the forwards, but it's something that they wouldn't pace. I don't think they're going to put too much focus on it. Sure, they're aware of it, and he's playing a little bit he didn't know. But no, he hits it nail on the head. It's about winning test matches.
Yep. The other point that we probably haven't touched on there is that the Wallabies might well have expected that the Fijians would run out of juice like we thought they would as well. 11 minutes to go, they probably thought, well, you know, we'll get a crack at this because they're probably fading fast. It wasn't the case.
Well, that moment, you know, we didn't clear. We got penalised with Bernard Foley early in that 50. Come back to that moment because then all of a sudden you get the ball for 10 minutes and you're Fiji and you should be fatigued, but you're not. And then you score. The crowd gets behind you. There's a big energy here, and everyone was really rooting for the Fijian team. They don't feel too tired. They think, hang on, we can score again. So you get those momentum shifts in test matches, and you saw that in the second half.
We're going to talk a bit more about things that perhaps the Wallabies have to work on in just a moment. But this man of the match, David Pocock, he was outstanding tonight.
Well, David, many congratulations. You're up and running in the tournament with a hard-fought win.
Yeah, it was good to get the win. You know, credit to Fiji backing up after 4 days with a performance like that. Both teams looked to use the ball, and I think it was pretty exciting to watch.
And for you personally, it's only your second test match at number 8, but it looks like you were born to play there. Fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. You know, I think it was a really good defensive effort there at the end to hold him out. I don't know how many phases that was, but it felt like a lot.
What does it mean to you to be back playing on this kind of stage after the 2 years you've had out with your knee injury to get back to this level?
It's a huge honour. I mean, you grow up as a kid watching the World Cup. It's the pinnacle of our game, and to be here, I'm incredibly proud to be part of this Wallabies team.
You've had to wait to get involved. You must feel you're now involved, and there's Uruguay coming in a few days. You're in the thick of this World Cup now.
Yeah, there's plenty to go now, and we'll set our sights on Uruguay and move forward.
Fantastic. Congratulations, David. You are the man of the match. I'll leave Andy here to present you with the trophy. Well played.
Yeah, very good. David Pocock happy with his game, no doubt, both in attack and defence. And yeah, we talked about them being so hungry. And Marto, you said that you bumped into a few of the Wallabies at the team hotel this morning, just wanting to get out to play. He started the game exactly like that. He was doing everything he could, humanly possible, just to make tackles and hit people.
Oh, there's no wonder he's man of the match. His impact was incredible. In defence first, whether he was defending at first receiver, but his work over the ball, we all know what he does. His 2 tries, and then also his running game. That's what I was really impressed with. Some of those bump offs and then handoffs. So yeah, he's in the form of his life.
You were talking about too in the call about how much you love the Hooper-Pocock combination. Long may it continue. Can I get a thought from both of you on the success of that tonight?
Well, the breakdown, isn't it? They put so much pressure on the breakdown. They make very, very good decisions. And because of that, it really helps your defence. And they scramble so well together. Both of those guys, if you watch that game, they make some really, really important tackles where they probably shouldn't be in those positions, but they work so hard to get themselves in those positions. And that inspires the players around you. When they play tandemly, it makes so much difference to our attack and defence, doesn't it, Marto?
For anyone talking about why it helps our defences, because even if they don't grab the ball for us, it slows things down so much that we're on the front foot in defence rather than backpedaling, getting ourselves set. And anyone will go, why can't we always have them? And the thing is, we'll only have 3 line-out jumpers. The line-out worked perfectly until Rob Simmons went off. So they'll just have to tweak that. I don't think it's going to be a problem to have. As long as Fardy's there, he's our 3rd jumper, we can play with Pocock and Hooper. Well, Hooper won 2 line-outs tonight, but let's remember that as well. It's another tactic.
Rod Kafer standing by with Will Genia. We'll go to them shortly, but just a thought on Will tonight, back with the 9 jersey on.
Yeah, it was really sharp, particularly like his performance was very, very, very clinical, and I liked what I saw in terms of his combination and his partnership with Bernard Foley. It would have been nice for him to get a bit more front football in the second half and probably get his running game in, because I was starting to thin up through the edge of the ruck. But it's a first game and a good start, and it was pleasing to see him looking to use his running game.
I'd overlooked that was their first start together in a test match. So really, that combination, he was throwing the ball Aaron Smith-like in front of his 5'8", and Foley was going at the line. It looked very convincing in the first half. It's good signs.
All right, we'll find out what Will thought of that performance. Here he is with Kate.
Will, important to get the win out of the way, and you did that tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the most important thing. We knew that they were going to be very tough, and that proved to be the case. And we just spoke about sticking our structures, trusting the way we want to play, and we came away with the result.
Pretty clinical first half from the team, and maybe just in the second half didn't get the rhythm back.
Yeah, we didn't quite capture the same rhythm, but credit to them. They managed to retain the ball and build some pressure, and I think credit to us as well. We showed some guts in terms of scramble D, but there's a lot to build on. Yeah.
Early on, scrums were an issue, tight to get the ball. That you adjusted things and got it working.
Yeah, I just had a bit of miscommunication with Squeak. Had to correct the feed and get it right, but credit to the pack. The ball was stuck in the middle there. They knew they had to work to get the ball back, and and more often than not, we did.
It is always important to win these games. Bonus points are in this World Cup for the first time. They are important as well, but for the Wallabies, it's just about continuing to win.
Yeah, I think winning's everything. I mean, we haven't mentioned bonus points at all. It's about getting the result and building some momentum moving in to the rest of the tournament.
See you soon.
Cheers. Thanks, Gabe.
No mention of bonus points from Will Genia either. And they're right, aren't they? You beat Uruguay, you beat Wales, you beat England, you beat Fiji. Bonus points don't matter.
Well, you just get better in attack, and it takes care of itself, honestly. Look, everyone talks about bonus points. If you are good in the basics and fundamentals, and you get good quality ball, and you're making good decisions, you're giving people like Israel, Folau and others a chance to play with space, you'll score points. This Wallaby team will score points. So they just need to fine-tune a few things.
All right, let's get to a break on Fox Sports. When we come back, this man has a bit of Fox Field for you, so looking forward to that. 28 points to 13, 3 tries to 1. The Wallabies over Fiji to start their World Cup campaign. already in this World Cup. There's been some wonderful moments. You can add this to the list, these two giants for their respective sides. Nadolo and his cousin, Tavita Kuridrani, in the background there. They've swapped jerseys. Just another great moment from what has been a wonderful evening here at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. He is a giant of a man. I'm surprised he fits into that number 13 jersey.
He stretched my jersey, cuz.
Hey, he was pretty good tonight. There's nothing he can't do. Probably didn't see as much of the ball as he really wanted to, Nadolo, but pretty good.
Well, they tried to get the ball to him more than they did last Friday night against England. Yeah, he was impressive, but I tell you what, some of the Australians, Bernard Foley cut him down. Yeah, the Australians were ready for him. They just went round the bootlaces. That's what you do for when you're outweighed by 40 Ks.
Matt Giteau, he's got the family here with him at the moment, which is wonderful for them, Bianca and the two boys. So he's swapped jerseys as well. And he was another that we saw at the team hotel this morning, and he just can't get over the fact he's here. He just thinks that he's on borrowed time every day back in the Wallaby squad, and just the joy that he's out there playing in the gold jersey again, very special.
Oh, I loved having him out there. Left footer, I love having him out there because of that, but also his poise. As this World Cup gets heavier against Wales and England before the finals, we need players like him.
All right, so a special moment for the Giteaus. Pretty good night for Rob Simmons as well. As Marto said, the line out didn't look how it had looked all night when Rob went off. Very, very good for the Wallabies tonight.
Rob, firstly, good win for the Wallabies. It was tough out there.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted, just to seal the win. We weren't, searching for anything there extra. Just make sure we get the win first. As we've seen in this competition, there's no definite wins.
It was a tough physical encounter. The team got the set piece going particularly well for the first 60 minutes. You must have been pleased with how it went.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't the perfect game, but it was a good start, and especially in that first 40, that's exactly what we're looking for, and hopefully we can keep building on that over an 80-minute performance.
Looking forward to the rest of the tournament, obviously Uruguay, and then the two big matches to finish out the pool. Now this first one's out of the way. Do you now start to sort of think about what's next?
Yeah, I suppose we're only looking at one game at a time. We've got to get to Uruguay now in 5 days and recover fast and try and get out there. We finished a bit different there. James Slipper came off, so we've got to assess and see what happens, who we can put out in the field next week.
Right, we'll see you on Sunday.
Cheers, thanks, mate.
Yeah, Rob Simmons there. We saw him as the chief line-out caller tonight, and what happened to the line-out when he went off. It wasn't functioning as well. Is that an area they will have to look at moving forward?
Yeah, well, just a couple of mistakes, wasn't it? Like, that was the one that they're probably setting up for the driving line out, and they had another second bite there and just didn't bring the ball down, Mumm, and just came a bit short on. It's funny, a little bit of pressure can cause that, a little bit of miscommunication, and people just get a bit twitchy in line out time, and they'll work on that. That's really important to do that.
Let's just explain to everyone, the way they've been training is they have been training as that team that started the game and the team that'll start in Uruguay. We won't be seeing Rob Simmons, or very little of him, come Sunday. Maybe he might come on in the 70th minute. So to blame Mumm is a bit tough, because they would have been training with all their own jumpers, with their own thrower, Tatafu, Polota-Nau. So it was a mix and match. They probably haven't done any work as replacements, mix and matching the two forward packs. So they'll get to that. The big plan is not Uruguay. That'll be easy. Let's face facts. The big plan from here is Wales, and they'll see them play England on Saturday, and they go, righto, Warren ball, it's what it's called. Warren Gatlin will just try to knock them over. So they've got to play a completely different way to how they played Fiji.
It's funny, I just sort of get the sense we're almost probably being a little bit critical, because after that first half, we just expected so much from them, and we're kind of probably focusing on things that didn't quite work as well without seeing the big picture, which is a first-up win at the World Cup. I mean, it's a great way to start.
Well, there's always takeaways. There's always things you can learn in a game. The first half was really, really good, because they haven't played since they were over in the US, and they haven't played against a really high pressure game since Auckland. So it was really important that they started well, and they did. They couldn't have done any better in that first half, I felt. There's always a few mistakes. Second half, it just shows we go back to that momentum. Just a couple of fundamental errors. You lose a bit of momentum. You lose a few line-outs on the then all of a sudden you're on the back foot, and the game, the 40 minutes has gone. So they'll work on those things and fix them.
It wasn't a huge win, but at least the bottom line is, at least Japan didn't beat us. Let's always remember that.
Exactly right. Exactly right. We will.
And keep saying that as many many times you see a South African as possible.
Now, Chris, you were sitting there during the 80 minutes. You've been a little bit secretive. I was interested to know what you were preparing for Fox Field. What do you got for us?
Oh, well, Fox Field. We'll introduce into the Fox Field. It's a team try. I'm a big man on team tries. I love a team try, and this is a great exhibition of it, which led to Kepu being the receiver of all the work done by everyone. They've gone to the 7-man line out, used Michael Hooper. They weren't matched up. And what I love, their Bernard Foley catches it flat. He's got the option to pass inside or outside. Quick front foot ball, and again, they're playing on top of them. They move the ball to space. Izzy Folau, one-on-one, gets through the defence with the carry. Doesn't look for the offload, recycles. They back the structure. Now look at Kepu. Nice carry from Kane Douglas saying, give it to me. He's got a player inside him, Scotty CO. He's also got the captain on his outside, doesn't need more. He goes over and scores a great team try. Really good work from the team and beautiful build-up.
Indeed. So a lot to like, lot to work on. It's nice to see. Just talking about South Africa and Japan, I just have to share with everyone about the South African grocery store near the hotel in London that you've been terrorising all week. What have you been saying? Sticking your head in and just reminding them?
I've been asking if they've got any biltong and tuna flavoured, and asking every time I go past there if they've got some sushi. It's not funny anymore, but it is to me.
Yeah, and they don't think it's hilarious.
No, they
trust
don't.
me. All right, still a lot more to come on Fox Sports from the World Cup. Let's see what we have in store from you, or for you rather, in not too long from now. It is France and Romania in about half an hour from now, in fact, at the Olympic Stadium. That is next. And then New Zealand and Namibia, also from the Olympic Stadium. That's Friday morning Australian time at 4:45 Eastern. Rugby HQ, your inside pass to what's happening with the Wallabies here at the World Cup from 7:30 Eastern on Friday night. And then the first episode of Cup Runneth Over, Sean Maloney's new program, and that is a lighter look at the World Cup so far. So we're looking forward to Shawnee getting to air with that on the weekend. Just one final thought from both of you on the Wallabies' performance tonight as we move forward to Uruguay and those two big pool matches against England.
Well, it was a really good start. You know, they've had a win against Fiji here in Millennium Stadium, and they can move on. And there's things to work on, but it's a really positive start by the Wallabies.
Just want to make mention, Bernard Foley was only kicking at all our goal kickers kicking at 63% during the Rugby Championship. The last two Test matches has been over 90, and tonight was a continuation. If we're going to go close to winning this World Cup, we need to keep on rolling. I like what I saw out of Bernard Foley tonight. No team has ever won the World Cup without a 5/8 in superb form. He was approaching that this evening.
A lot to like about this Wallaby performance here at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. We are underway, the Wallabies, with that victory over Fiji. We will see